You're probably losing money, and then you're going to keep losing money unless you stop doing these things. What is up, guys? It's Coach Forex, aka GBP Emperor, aka Emperor of Blues. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how I lost money and kept losing money on the Forex market until I mastered these 4 things. If you want to be a consistent trader, it goes with following a certain routine, right? In trading, I always tell my mentees that if you really want to be a consistent trader, you have to program your mind as if you're an EA, right? You guys know what an EA is? EA is expert advisor. It's basically like a coding system that replicates trading on a systematic basis, right? So a profitable trader is one that operates like an EA. You just have to psychologically tune your mind in repeating simple things over and over again. And that is something that's very difficult for the ordinary trader to do. In that case, it lets us lose a lot of money. I have been a victim of that, and I can tell you, you're also probably facing the same process. So if you really want to cure yourself of that, then watch this video to the end. I'm going to really break down the 4 main things that I had to genuinely master before I was able to become a consistently profitable trader and I stopped losing a lot of money on the market. So watch this video to the end. So I'm going to be showing you guys very simple thing. I already told you that I was consistently losing money on the Forex market until I mastered these 4 few things that I'm going to be disclosing to you, right? So imagine that I'm actually going to be using one currency pair and consistently using the same model in terms of the concept I'm going to be showing you, right, to repeat how I'm going to consistently be finding entries and making money off this market. Remember, this is GBP JPY and I'm currently on the 4-hour time frame, which has been the ideal time frame that I've been trading on. I ran a survey and then most of you were like, Kojo, why are you not going to really teach us a strategy video? So I'm going to teach you the most simplest strategy video that has for a long time saved me from losing money on the Forex market. So guys, for me, one thing that I totally mastered are 4 concepts that people literally give no attention to on the Forex market, and that has been like the concept that have existed with us for a long time, right? You guys know them. I'm going to emphasize them. They remain the support, the resistance, the Fibonacci, and the trend line, right? But the difference with me is how I interpret these things, right? So in the past, I've already explained to you in several of my other videos that you'd get traders literally defining support level as previous level where the market has rejected or bounced so many times. So you have like a market that has rejected several, about 3 times like this. Then traders are saying, okay, this is a previous support level. We're expecting that when market comes back into that level, then it should reverse from this range and then go up. So that is where they are interested in looking out for a buy setup, right? Something like this. They are looking literally that when price comes back into this range, they want to buy like that, right? And then the resistance setup is similar to this in that it's like the opposite version where traders have seen consistent rejection from their upside in a similar zone, right? So they see 1, 2, usually 2 or more, which is like 3, and it's okay. They start marking it with a zone, right? They use a range tool to mark it and say this is our previous resistance zone. If the market comes back there, then we are looking to sell, right? They may have their own modus, which is like infusing it with some trend line or some indicators that tells them that the market is ready to sell. But what I did different was interpreting this concept in a different manner, and then there's a logic behind what I did, right? So basically I was questioning myself that being that the market is a psychological space where it tends to, you know, understand retail logic and then take out a lot of people's stop losses and then you literally like put us on the losing end. Why is it that we would have to like see a technical analysis where the market has obviously made it clear to so many other people that this is the reaction is going to do, and then expect us to fulfill it or expect that it's supposed to like fulfill, right? And also I'm going to also add on to the fact that what also changed my perspective with that concept is that I interpreted support and resistance from more of a different dimension than the way people also saw it as like a consistently rejecting zone in the market, right? So with me, I saw, let's say if this is our resistance zone, right, this is the first one that they rejected, right? So my whole concept or my whole idea is that why can't I find trade on the next one? Why do I have to wait for 1, 2, 3, 4 and then try to look for trade on the 5th one or even on the 4th one, right? Why can't I just start making trade ideas on the 2nd one? The same for the support level. I'm like, if this is a support level, and then do I have to really wait for 1, 2, 3, right? Like 1 here, 2 here, 3 before I start making trade decision? Why am I not able to like instantly make it on the 2nd decision? And that was the real reason why I was able to build the idea that any major support level, any major or significant resistance level, right, which is like a previous turning point in the market, becomes like a key support level for me, right? So it's like this: any price point which market fails to go any lower, right, then I regard it as a support level. and any price points above which the market failed to go any higher than already regarded as a resistance level. So that concept stayed with me for a long time, in that once I'm able to mark that level down, then the next time the market comes into that zone, rather than be that retail mind who is waiting for the next 3-1, the next 4-1 before I buy, I'm already looking for trade entries within this range, right? And then the same with this one. Rather than wait for the retail mindset who's going to wait for the next 3 or 4 consistent push-up, the moment the market comes into this range, I'm already looking for some concept or some key confirmation to start selling it back down like this. So that was what made the difference in my concept. So now I've talked about the support, the resistance. Let's look at a practical aspect of it from the GBP JPY setup that I've already established with you here, or from the one that I've already displayed with you here. So now if you look at this GBP JPY, right now guys, look at this. You see this vertical line there? You've been watching my chart for a long time. I've always had them there, right? We have week 1, like this is the current week that we are in here, right, which is this one here. This signifies the current week. Let's note it as week 1. Let's signify this one here as a previous week, which was week 2, and then let's note this one here as week 3, and then let's call this one week 4, right? Let's call this one week 4. So I'm going to start my analysis from the week 4 basis, right? So we have week 1 here, week 2, week 3, and then week 4, right? Now, guys, already I've explained to you that with me, support is any price point below where the market failed to go any lower, and the resistance is any price point above where the market failed to go any higher. So in that concept, looking at this being like this is the 4th week, right? If we play this a little bit up front like that, right, you're going to see that this line appears here, signifying exactly where the market began. All I got to do now is that establish previous support or resistance in the market. Previous resistance being this one here, and then previous support now being exactly this one that we have here. So in that case, I've already predefined the range in the market, and predefining the range means that at this point I'm either waiting, is this market going to come into this zone and then go back up, right, as my technical analysis would expect, or is it going to go up here and then come into this zone, right? So it's two things that it's going to do: either go up here, come into this zone, or go down here, come into this zone, or either way is break and continue lower, or again break and continue higher, right? So at that point, all you need is extra confluence, which is like the candlestick knowledge, to be able to know what the market is going to do in those zones, right? So let's see practically what happened, and then how your thought process would have led you in finding a trade entry like this, right? So we move forward a bit, using that replay tool. So we move forward, right, using that replay tool, moving forward. We're waiting for price reaction at that resistance level right here, right? So yeah, guys, we have that price tapping perfectly into that range, right? And then we've had our first bearish signal, which is this tweezer top right here. But is it significant for you to take a trade yet? I think your discretion would matter. With experience, you would know if you're supposed to like sell off right off this and then put your stop loss right above the range, or you want to hold, right? For me, I'd normally take a setup like this, or sometimes I wait for the next subsequent confirmation if we have extra bearish confirmation, right? So let's see what happens. So now you can see that with the second one, we have an extra confirmation. So if you did take that early entry, you're going to have your entry around here. If you waited for that extra confirmation, then that puts your entry right around here, which kind of allows you to sort of miss out on a few more pips, right? Nonetheless, it's not much to have like that confidence back in your trade setup if you're missing out on a few pips, right? So ideally, you have your setup here, your stop loss right above the range like that. Your expectation of profit should come into a range like this, or your second setup would be like this, where you're waiting. Nonetheless, you're obviously going to risk much more, and then your take profit also still back into a range like this, right? This is 1:2.3, and this one is 1:4.7, literally 1:5 setup, right? So whichever one works for you, then ideally you would want to take it. So let's see how this one plays out. Now remember that with all this that I'm doing, we are following that resistance concept of the market, right? So now forward play, you can see that it quickly puts us into a huge profit, right? We're already making money in the market. Pushes us further down, and now back again, we're on a support level. TP has been hit for this setup, right? So you can see that just following a simple concept like resistance and then defining in my own unique way, I've been able to like achieve massive amount of progress on this, right? Now, if the market hits a support level like this, I'm looking at two things, right? Is this market going to continue further down? And I'm looking at,